Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome to day 6 of the 11th edition of Miss World Summit 2024 and to this full discussion transcending boundaries, embrace diversity and rights in transgender advocacy, where we are about to embark on a journey of grit, inspiration, innovation, and entrepreneurship. I'm Feliciana D'Souza, Senior Impact Associate from Pro Impact Solution. At Rise Summit, attendees can expect a dynamic platform where influential speakers share insights, fostering collaboration and inspiring change across the diverse sectors to address the challenges and opportunities of our rapidly evolving world. Welcome, everyone, and pleasure to introduce you to our esteemed roundtable moderator, Rupali Bid, who is the founder of The Cocoon, a pioneering platform for incubation, mentoring, and facilitation for transgender entrepreneurships. She advocates for redefining gender discourse, emphasizing social inclusions, gender equality, visibility rights. With over a decade of dedication, an active contributor to grassroots initiatives like Frame. Over to you and welcome Krupali, all the experts here.
Thank you, Felician. Thank you very much. A very warm welcome to all the panelists and to all the attendees of this session. And good afternoon to you all. I can see that Rise World Summit has been going wonderful with all the wonderful sessions happening all throughout the day simultaneously. And I could attend a couple of them, and it was just amazing. The energy has been wonderful, and I'm very happy that today we are discussing about transgender persons, their rights, the overall inclusion scenario in India, and it's been a wonderful journey that the community now is being a part of different platforms. So, heartiest congratulations to Rise to have taken this step to make it more inclusive to. Not just speak but to express that in intent as well, and we can see it from the platform registration process where we see different gender categories expressed, where we have a scope to share what we feel and choose that gender category. So I heartily congratulate you all, and thank you, Felician, thank you, Karon, thank you, Triza and Deepali, for putting this together for all of us. Now, a very warm welcome to the expert panel that we have here. With me, I have three of my amazing transgender activists joining from across India. We may have one more activist joining us in a little while, but meanwhile, let's get introduced to the panel that we have in front of us. Let me first introduce my very good friend, a friend from many years, somebody who I call my soul sister also, and an amazing ground activist from Mumbai, Maya Avasthi. So, yes, Maya Avasthi is the co-founder of Tweet Foundation. Tweet is abbreviated as Transgender Welfare Equity and Empowerment Trust. It has been registered in Delhi. It has its office in Mumbai, Delhi as well. And she's been working for the past 15 years for empowering the transgender persons community and focusing on aspects such as health, social, and economic development. She identifies as a trans woman herself. She's also been the co-founder of Dancing Queens, which is India's first transgender-led dancing group, and she's also worked closely with the Queer Azadi March in Mumbai. She's completed her post-graduation management studies, having worked in the health sector with the government sector. Now she has completely delved herself and dived into the area of gender and inclusion, and works at different levels with the government, with international organizations, and has been a very strong advocate of trans rights and identities as far as I have known her for so many years. It's a pleasure to have you on this panel, and we'd love to hear your experiences from the ground and the voices of the communities that you represent today. With us, we also have a wonderful, wonderful ground activist from southern India. Her name is Neela. Neela ji is the member of the Transgender Welfare Board in Tamil Nadu states. She belongs to Chennai. She's a social activist who has been working in the area of transgender employment, healthcare, and has been passionate about art, especially art and education, educating people through art. She's also part of the Aravani Art Project, which is a project that involves the transgender community to express themselves on murals on murals across different areas in cities. And we have some wonderful murals in cities that we know in Mumbai, in Pune, in Chennai, in I think in some heartland of Indore and other areas as well. She's also, I mean, the most interesting part about her journey is going to be about her sharing on her work on the Farm Foundation, where she's looking forward to creating a larger community, a larger organization that provides healthcare, employment, and education to the transgender community. And one interesting thing about Neela is that she's also a lyricist and a rapper. I'm not sure if if she's prepared something for us today, but if we have time in at the end of the session, we'd love to hear a small rap on something related to the transgender rights and challenges and something related to your life. I mean, it will be more interesting. She's also been awarded with the Rajya Puraskar Award and the Ramanujacharya Ambedkar Award by Tamil Nadu Young Thinkers Forum. Also, we have another panelist, an expert, and this area of their expertism, I mean, their expert experience comes from amazing ground level advocacy. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Kiran. Welcome, Dr. Kiran. Kiran is a trans man, identifies as a trans man, and also an activist in sexuality, gender, and disability. So they have been exploring the area of the intersection of being transgender and experiencing disability as well. Kiran has been awarded with an honorary doctorate from Asia International Cultural Research University and has been awarded with various awards. One of them being the Helen Keller Individual Award 2020 from NCPD. So I welcome you, Kiran, and it will be lovely to know your stories, understand your journey, and know what we all can bring together, bring to the table, right? So with this wonderful introduction of our expert panel, we'll begin our first section today. We have divided this entire session into three sections. The first section is going to be about our journey towards inclusivity, where we hear stories from Kiran, Neela, and Maya, and their life stories, and we understand how their personal journeys have been, and with that we understand how the larger community, the larger trans community, and their challenges and issues around them for inclusion in the mainstream, in the so-called mainstream, or in the larger society. Then we go on to the next section where we are going to discuss about the NALSA judgment, the Transgender Act, that is an empowering legal tool in India. However, the challenges of implementation and what have been the gaps in the act. We move forward from there to understanding how do we, each of us who's present in this panel, in this discussion, whoever is attending and watching this, how we take this forward and convert it into actions for us, actionables in our own lives, that we create the environment of inclusion around us, and then we conclude the session. So I think I now invite the panelists to share their insights. Let me first start with Neela ji. Neela ji, we'd like to know your story, your personal story, and some of the key milestones in your life. Over to you. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Kripali, for inviting me. And so, as everyone knows, transgender people were born physically, biologically as a male before. So I identified my gender.
Neela, you are on mute. Can you just unmute? I request Maya to just mute the audio for a while Neela is speaking. Maya, may I? Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Neela, please go ahead.
So I identify my gender identity at the age of 18. So at the time, I don't really have the guts to open up in my family. So I thought like I have to hide myself, like hide my gender identity and hide my feelings with me. So after my brother's marriage, that is the time and that is the scenario I have to open up about my gender identity to my parents. And that is how I revealed all the things about the transgender, how the life cycle and how the lifestyle, what is the surgery process, everything I have shared to my whole family. At the time, my mother, she was crying. Uh, she accepted me as a child, but she didn't accept me as a woman. And even she was not having that much of awareness in that. So I was in urge to convince my family members, but unfortunately, it doesn't work out. So at that time, I was just escaped to another district where I was in the process of adoption. A transgender mother, she adopted me as her child. Her name is Jayabharati Amma, and she's no more. And she was in an organization called Udayam in Pudukkottai district, and she is my role model. So after seeing her, even when I was in begging work, I made her my role model, and I thought I have to grow like her, not doing sex work, not doing begging. I have to be the role model of my community, and I have to lead my transgender people in a right way. So in the meanwhile, my parents they called me and they said like we accept you as who you are, but two conditions. One is no work and another is no begging. I told my mother and I asked my mother because all I need is family acceptance. Being sex work is not important more than that. So finally I was accepted by my family and I was looking for a job. At the time got a job from a benefit organization which is helping for the transgender community. So there I have been working as a community organizer where I have to identify the potential talent in the community. I have to help them for placement. So we placed almost 100 plus transgender in different corporate companies. So that is my first success. That was my first success. So through them, I got to know about this Aramani Art project, where my friend Purnima, she is helping the transgender community for their employment. Like they will teach how to, uh, art, how to work as a big mural. We didn't imagine before coming to Aravani Art project. Like also, the artwork is very different and very vast in the society. So that is how I got to know about them. And through them, I got to know about starting a project, which is an international project. So they was talking to, many different peoples. So I want to be in a place, like not sitting in a one place, seeing same faces daily, sitting for 8 hours. No, I'm not that kind of person. So I want to talk. I want to interact with different people so that I can study many people's mind and so that I can help the transgender community for their inclusivity in the society. So that is how I, the community organizer in Start India project, I explored many different states, different districts through them. So they helped me a lot. And after I was promoted as a Tamil Nadu Transgender Welfare Board woman. I was helping the transgender community for their upliftment. So I'm just getting all the government schemes from the government, and I'm just helping the community to serve and to live a dignified, sustainable life. So then I started my own organization called Farm Foundation because I did my B Pharmacy. So I thought like we don't want to separate ourselves stuck in a corner in the society. So we have to be very inclusive and we have to work for all the human beings. I don't want to separate like male, female, no transgender, no intersex. No, it should not happen like that. So everybody are equal. So we are human beings. So for that, I decided to work for each and every individual. So that is how I started teaching tailoring for all the cis women and the trans women. And we have started the tuition center. Around 75 students are there. And we started teaching Pare. And even we are running in a small clinic also, a rehabilitation clinic, like harm reduction clinic. So doctors from the Tagore Medical College, they are coming and helping tenements who are there in my area. So there you can see most of the youth people, they are addicted to weeds, helping them to get a free consultation, a free and free treatment. So that is what I do. And thank you so much. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, Neela. Thank you for sharing your journey with us. One thing that struck me when you shared your story that your
Kripali, you just unmute, Kripali.
yeah, I have
Unmute,
unmuted.
please.
Yeah, I'm on unmute. Hello, are you able to hear me? Yeah. So, okay, right. Thank you. Thank you. So, I was just sharing that, Neela, it was really overwhelming to listen to your journey and understand all those experiences that you've been through and what you're doing today, where you're today, and your larger vision for an inclusive world where there is no gender distinction. So that's beautiful. One thing that struck me when you shared about your story, your personal story, particularly, was your mother accepting you as a child, but not ready to accept you as a woman. What was that experience? Can you quickly share a little bit on how this how did you navigate through this experience, this process of your own biological parent not wanting to accept you as an identity that you chose for yourself? I'm sure everybody, all of our trans friends face this. They navigate this at every point in their life. But since you have pointed this out, I'd like to put this to you before we move on to our next panel expert. How have you navigated that aspect of your journey? Yeah, Neela, you're on mute.
Yeah, actually, I couldn't get your voice clearly.
Okay, so I was sharing that since you shared about your mother and the experience of
Yeah.
her accepting you as a child, as her
Mm,
child, but not
yeah.
accepting you as a woman. So it's very difficult to navigate through this process. I'd
Mm.
like you to share a little more on this and how has the family acceptance part been for you?
Yeah, of course. I'd like to that one. So initially, age of childhood until the age of 18 or 27, my mother was thinking like physically he was a boy
Hmm.
and psychologically he was a boy, like that. But she's not having much of awareness for the thing she has, but for the psychological thing she didn't. So that is what I was part to explain about each and everything to my mother. So on that time I was explaining her like, see, you want to live as a woman. Even I want to live as a woman. See, how many times I'm just growing my hair like you, but you are forcing me to cut my hair. How
Hmm.
many times putting nail polish in my nails, but you are forcing me to rub it off. How many times you want me? I want to dress up like a woman, but you are forcing me to not to do it, do that. So this is what my discriminations in my family because of nonsense. So when I was telling all about the transgenders' lives, everything, I was just comparing few transgender people and me to my mother. Through your lifetime, you have seen about transgender people on the roadside who are begging and who are doing sex work, but you didn't notice the people who are in different companies, who are living a dignified life, working in a different private sectors. We do have two hands. Anyway, you have seen one, but you didn't see the another one. When it comes, see, if something is happening, both of the things we want to see, both for the judgment also,
Hmm.
both have to. So for
Right.
that thing, my mother, she said like, yes, I didn't notice that. I have said, Yashni, she's the first trans woman who is as a sub-inspector of police. And
What's
few
her name? You
transgender,
said. Can you please repeat her name?
Pritika, yeah, yeah, Pritika Yashni.
Pritika Yashi.
Pritika
Wonderful. That's
Yashni.
something we all should celebrate. First transgender
Yes.
woman sub-inspector of police, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
And another few transgender people. See, even in my area also, few transgender people are working in a small shop
Hmm.
also. So that's what I was just explaining that to my mother.
Right.
And she needs some times to accept. So when she accepted, when she realized and when she accepted, my mother was the only who accepted me first in my family. You know what? So in when I was in my family, I'll be dressing like a guy. So when I was there out of the family, I was dressing like a girl. This was the big difficulty I was facing in the system. But when I come to my family, I was dressing up like a guy. At that time, my mother, she said like, so please have this nightie, just wear it and go to the shop, get a milk pocket from the shop. I was really
Right,
shocked. How
right,
can I do that, mom? She
right,
said,
right.
from this time, I'm just accepting you as who you are because you said many transgender people are working in different companies, right? So I want you to live a dignified life. I want you to be a role model for your community. So for that, you have to take the initial step. You want to live as a woman, right? So you just wear this nightie and go to the shop, she said. I was a little bit scared and shocked, surprised. But finally, I was wearing that, and I don't know how to face the society, but I did. Few people, few my neighbors, they were staring at me, looking at me, and they said, "What's happening with this?" Even though I was staring, I was, afraid of that. I just came to my mother and said, Ma, many people are seeing me in a different way, Ma. I'm just getting scared. I don't want to go out. She said, this is the first day you are facing this problem, but through your lifetime, you have to face this problem. Even many people will come and ask me, like, why you are doing this? Why he is dressing like a girl? So I will be in that position to answer, to take care of each and everything. I have the guts to face. Why don't you have the guts to face this society? She helped me to overcome that. So that is what my family accepted me, who as I am.
Amazing. That's such a powerful story, and it's so empowering to understand that when
Yeah,
that acceptance comes at the most, at the a very initial level of your
yeah,
socialization, your home, you get the confidence to go out and face the society. And
yeah.
I'm sure it has been great to hear this story of your mother supporting you in such a beautiful manner. Uh, my heart goes out to her and a big hug to her. Please communicate that she
Sure,
has a place of big respect in our hearts. Thank you, Neela. Thank you
sure.
so much.
Thank you.
With this, I think I want to move on to Maya ji. And Maya ji would like to hear from you about your experiences, your life journey, and how you have navigated your gender through your identity, your expression. Throughout different aspects, different uh, time periods, and different experiences of life. And we'd really love to hear from you as well. Yes, Maya, over to you.
Thank you, Kripali and Neela. Great respect to your mom because it's very rare with a trans person to have a family support. So, talking about me, my journey is not that great or inspiring, but then just a few glimpses of my life I can tell you. I I'm the eldest son in my family, and I have a younger sister uh, and a brother. My sister got married, and me and my sister is only just 1 year difference. So, uh, from childhood, I was very into a shy format of a person. Never used to play with boys. I used to be with my aunt home. I used to I get the chance, the loneliness, and then when I'm alone, I do makeup and wear sarees and all. So one day my elder brother caught me, my first cousin who caught me, and he said like, that is one of the reason why you don't want to be mingle with or play with boys and all. And as a, it's nothing like that, but then this is what I like to be myself. I that time, like, in my age there was no definition of gender, sexuality and all those things. I'm going to say that time gay word itself was not invented out, uh, and I'm talking about 78 80s. I'm talking about I'm really very old, don't so, so in that time, there was no definition about sexuality or gender. So I was not clear about, like, no, it is gender or sexuality, which I can see right from the current lens per se. So my brother said, okay, let's compromise. I'll not tell because I don't want to go to your family. But then let's have mutual consent. I tell like what's the mutual consent. So it was like physical thing, and the abuse, and I was not even known that time also this is called abuse. I thought ye deal hota hai. Okay, so that's the reason I did it. And to my surprise, if I look like no the time when I realized everything, I see that it went till 8 years of abuse. And by the time I complete my 10th, I saw one of a documentary in Didi, Doordarshan, and that time they were talking about gay and all those things. And I went to my neighbor and asked him, like, what is like what I did with my brother was gay or something that. And he said, like, I don't know, but would you like to do practical on it? And I will define you what is gay and all. So it was another incident. So, my entire story during my till the graduation, it was more like when I want to explore my sexuality, it was more of a not exploring, but then they were exploiting me to in the name of making me understand about what I am. Okay, it went to my cousins and it like in college everywhere. I face everything, but then. Even I got a pressure of a marriage from my family when I was in second year of graduation, when I was doing graduation. And I said, like, to my mom that by the time my sister got married and my brother was studying, youngest brother was studying, I told her, like, one night that, Mom, listen, I am not into female, so I don't want to get married. I want to be myself. And my mom very calmly said, I'm aware of it. I mean, how come you aware of it? I mean to say, have you, who said you? So he said, like your cousin with whom you slept, he said me that, please check your child. He's into the wrong act. And I said, yes, I'm in a wrong act. But if I'm in a wrong act, why he did it multiple times with me? Okay. So isn't it a wrong act for him also? So she said, like, no, 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 let's do something like, let's get married. Married will cure you everything. And look the way he is now happily married and all. And then I made her realize that it is not that what you see is right. After marriage also, having a wife, he do all this thing with me. I would say it's not he just being a fake in front of the society. But anyways, I overcome. Then I started working with as a volunteer for an organization and all the way what I can do for the community. The journey went on. I went to corporate. Corporate also, when I worked in corporate, I was also in corporate also. I faced the violence, the sexual abuse. It was a night when the guardkeeper did it, and I left the organization. And then I thought like it's end to the corporate. I have to go back to the social sector. And today I am into I have my own organization working for community across India. Uh, but the challenge is that my parents have still not accepted me till date. I'm a two personality at one body. So when I'm in my family, I'm a boy for them. When I'm in my own space, I'm a female, and I do work. And the reason for forming this organization was many, uh, because we all board member came together, trustee came together, and we decided. But my personal interest for forming this organization was I was always been exploited in the name of explaining about the things, and I've been deprived from all the benefits or how to be yourself. I don't want any other child to go under this, and this is now 20th century or 21st century. Now this is we have to say no. Hence, I am working for making the best to each and every single life who I get in touch with, so that they don't have to go whatever the issues which I have went on or I'm going on right now. So this is the entire story of mine, and this is what I do it. Thank you.
Maya, thank you for deeply sharing with us your experiences, and it takes a lot of courage to come out on such a platform and share those moments that you might never have wanted to go back onto those memories. But I salute your courage, and despite all of these varied experiences that have that might have put a big impact on your heart, you have surpassed that you have fought all of that, and you're standing tall on your feet. taking your gender identity, wearing it on your sleeve, and taking this forward. So it is an inspiring journey. Please, you introduce saying that okay, my journey is not that inspiring, but I believe that each of you, every one of you, and especially you, because I know you personally as well, and now I've been knowing you for a while. Today I've got to hear things that I've never heard before from you. It's painful, it's deeply disheartening to know that our friends, our people that we see, I mean, all of our trans friends have experienced some of these things during their lifetimes and journeys. And it's really painful that as a society we are still not able to understand that our own people could feel differently, and we define everything by what we feel. So I have a namaste. I mean, I just want to share that we are with you, and we are with you. uh, I think this will be a space that all of us open our hearts, with you sharing such deep emotions from your journey. So Maya, you're doing wonderful. You're doing amazing work, and I wish you that your vision for that all other young trans persons do not face the same thing that you have faced, may it come true, may it fulfill sooner, and all of us contribute towards it. So with this, let me introduce and have Dr. Kiran, who identifies as a trans man within the transgender umbrella. And we have many things to learn and hear from Kiran's story. Kiran, over to you. Thank you.
So, hi, thank you. Uh, I'm Kiran Naik. I'm from actually in India in Telangana. So, migration in Bangalore. So, I'm orthopedic disability and trans man and migration and Dalit. So, friends, today my story is I'm in background by birth is female, then changed to in trans man. My feelings to totally man, and I'm wheelchair person exactly. And I don't know who this giving my gender, my disability, and my caste. I don't know in who this giving God or anything. I don't know is. I'm 37 years old in my life journey. So in I'm come back in is age of ninth that day, age of ninth I'm not going to in any studies. And my only one teacher, my hero in Krishnamurti, and he's the special finally degree finish. And that day is one of the best friend in Sarita is my classmate, and that sister in Radhika. So love in 5 years in 2008 in March 9th in my marriage day. And one of the temple in big in Andhra Pradesh in Tirupati is that temple is married in 2008. So in free marriages in the temple, I will applied is man, but both is lovers, but not supporting to family. That miscommunication, giving, and finally marriage. After then directly my wife called to in father. He's going to in police station, put to in kidnap, missing. Is my using first name is a very kidnapping lady, and so big stories and attack to in 40 to 50 media channels in SP office in Varangal. So then is some media supporting to me, some media supporting to wrong. So is going to on AP and Telangana Telugu areas in love story. So that SP is counseling to you. This is Indian culture not good. Is a go to separately, and she's good counseling both and giving to in go to your village. She is told, but my wife and my side is a big fight in that day. I'm really painful that day, and some auto drivers in society in public places so come to in beat to in me and silver and some stones and some very bad words also using that day. And finally is one of the media person. He's the gay person, and I don't know in trans issues. I don't know in trans man, trans woman. I don't know that day, but he's supporting to me, and he saved and come back in 2008 in the 5 days. That 5 days is my very bad day, and one day is the both to decide in suicide plan, and finally no face in my mother also in village in take to in poison. Some my village people is so asking to in using in bad words. So very sad to in my mother, and take to in poison. So I am also in decided to why this life. So both of take to in some bangles powder and take to water and drinking that day. So I'm today here, and 5 time is a suicide plan, but I think God is great. Maya madam is here, Neela is here. So many trans man issues is in life very bad situation. That media person is giving to support, and today that gay man is very happy to say today I'm here. And then after 1 week I'm migration to in Bangalore, supporting to one of the organizations Sangama, and some people in local Bangalore people in supporting crisis. And I'm disability person and Dalit. I don't know in Kannada in Bangalore that day in the only language in Telugu, but very critical situation. I don't know any good job or anything, but I am very strong and good support to my wife, and really happy to hear. And is my story is telling to 2-3 minutes, but disability and trans man issues is very critical. So intersectionality is very critical, and how to facing my stories. And every time I'm come to in 2010 one of the organization working here in Bangalore, that is the sex worker organization. That owner also tell to in he's a owner. He's told to in you also sex work, and here you and your wife is directly remark. So facing lot of issues in my life, and caste in village level, and my friends and my family and not support that day. So very sad and very painful. I say to in my stories, life stories in links in chat box, and please check to in uh, everyone. And but I feel reminding the dates, and control myself actually. And uh, so and thank you so much giving to this platform. So the stories not asking to some people's today इस सोशल एक्टिविस्ट तुमको क्या प्रॉब्लम है, प्रॉब्लम में नहीं है ऐसा बोल सकता है. सो हमको प्रॉब्लम्स है. आई हैव फेसिंग टू सो मेनी प्रॉब्लम्स, एंड really happy to support to my wife today, and in last 15 years to she's with me. And in all in wheelchair person how to running in life. So thanks to and come back in my family with me today, and village people also with me, and big fight, and after come back. Really thank you so much to giving Krupali and Maya, Amma, Neela, Vidya, hi Vidya to all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you, Kiranji, for deeply sharing your journey, and you know what the different intersections of identities that you have navigated. Your gender and sexuality being one, then disability coming into the picture, and then how that affects And within the transgender umbrella, being a trans man and then looking at marriage, you got married to the love of your life, you've navigated that aspect, then you're bringing in another caste intersection, coming from a community that has not got an equal platform, though we're all working towards it. Talking about migration, you've brought in a lot of things on the, you've opened up a lot of, I think it's a Pandora's box, and we need to segregate each of these and talk about it. We'll come to that in a while. Meanwhile, let me just thank you. So thank you, Kiran, for sharing your story. Let me also introduce our panelist who's just joined us. She is in a little low network zone, and she's not able to log in, but thank you, Vidya ji, for joining in. I'll quickly introduce Vidya Rajput, one of our transgender activists from the central state of India of Chhattisgarh, an amazing activist who has started her journey from absolutely ground zero, and now she's at the helm of leading the interaction with the state government in Chhattisgarh, has been on the Chhattisgarh government transgender welfare board, has been awarded with amazing awards, one of them being the very prestigious Kamla Bhasin South Asia 2022 award by the Azad Foundation. And Vidyaji is also now on the National Transgender Council, which is going to be for a period of 2 years. So it's going to be more. It's a advocacy and consulting body, or rather say a guiding body to the government, to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So Vidya ji, welcome to the forum. और हम आपसे सुनना चाहेंगे, विद्या जी आप हो, आप फ्रीज हो गए हो, विद्या जी, आर यू देयर? All right. So I think there is some network issue. We'll come back in a while to Vidya ji and her quickly listen to her story. But before that, I want to address something that Sonia Kriplani has shared here. So Sonia ji, I'd like to share with you that all our transgender friends who are here on the forum have experienced being with the hijra culture, going through badhai tola and begging, also sex work. So it's not that we are discriminating against anyone. It's a journey of every individual that we are sharing. And though today you can see where after years of work our friends who are on the panel have reached, but every person, every hijra person, every kinner person, every person who's trans woman community or from the trans woman community has experienced poverty at one point because of the exclusion that begins at home, that begins with home, and being excluded from the society, and what follows after that, loss of opportunity, loss of access. So it's there is no intention of bringing in only people who are successful. It's the stories that we're celebrating, the journeys of our four expert panelists here who have faced what you are shared, who have faced that, who have overcome that, and who are now sharing with us what they have gone through and been through, right? So yes, so Vidya ji, आप I think आप अभी है, तो let's आपकी quickly हम एक बहुत संक्षिप्त में आपकी स्टोरी सुनना चाहेंगे, आपकी जर्नी सुनना चाहेंगे. हेलो विद्या जी. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're able to connect with her. She's there though on the panel, but once we have her, we are able to connect to her. We can listen to her story. Let's move on to our next section where we are going to discuss the Transgender Act. But before that, I think I'd like to demystify some concepts, and I would invite Maya ji to share a little bit quickly about gender, sex, and gender identity. How do we differentiate this? I'll request the technical team to put on our slide, both our slides. Yeah, Maya, please, you may start talking. I think we'll have the technical team add the
Sure.
slides, sir.
Thank you, Prapali and Kiran. Once again, we known from many years, but then it was good to reconnect you and then to hear about your personal story. So thank you, Kiran, to put this thing upfront on the forum. So coming up on the gender, sex, and security, there is a vast difference between them. But then, when we, as a community or as a society, when we talk about, we have to understand whether how do you define or do you differentiate between sex, gender, and sexuality. In my story, you would have heard that the reason, like I was not aware of it. There was lots of violence and today we all talk about good touch, bad touch to our student at home. So in that case, for parents, I would like to all the participant also. I want to make it sure that let's understand the jargons. It's not about the jargon. It's about the concept. What we cleared with our mind. So when we uh, I'm just continuing, Kripali. The slides can move on its own. Okay. So when we talk about sex, and I'll define you. This is actually when you go into psychology. This is a big full course into it. I can today in one statement I can make you understand the concept. So when you talk about sex, sex is nothing but then the genitals when we are born with. So sex is what we are born between our legs. Okay, something what is between our legs is our sex. Uh, Seeing that a doctor or a nurse will define or identify you as male child or a female child. So sex is something between your legs. It's not the act. It is the genitals which we have it. There are when you see the genitals, there are two genitals. Either it is a male genital or a female genital. So when it's a male genital, it will be a male child, and when it is a female genital, it is a female child, is a boy or a girl. But there is also something called as when you are not able to identify what with the genitals that whether he or she is a male or female. So those are cases where which is known as the hermaphrodites, and hermaphrodites are the not the problem of anything, but that it is just a chromosomal issue with at the time of baby developing in the womb. So these are the kids which we known as or identify as a intersex. Okay, so intersex is another identity where there is a form of a deformity. A child has been born, whether the genitals haven't been that prominent to identify as male or female. But what happened with these intersex child? Either they had not been notified to the government at the time of birth by the hospital, they had been given away to हीरा किन्नर who comes to the home कि आपके जैसा है आप लेके जाओ, or they have been given or they are kept at the hospital from the hospital. When they go to home they will drop it at the temple. भगवान तुमने जिसको पैदा किया तुम ही इसको ले लो वापस. These all the things. Hence, these kids are not been identified. But the medical always say that within a lakh of with a 1 lakh child, any one child also or 1% of child born with the deformity. Okay. Also, there are lots of now we see lots of intersex child coming up and talking about themselves because LGBTQI I stand for intersex. So these cases are the cases where they've been done a corrective surgery, but technically and legally corrective surgery is illegal because the child doesn't give the consent for the surgery, and it has been debated at lot of places at global and even at national level that the corrective surgery have to be with the consent of the from the child when he or she grown to the age of 17 or 18, and he or she gives the permission to go for a corrective surgery. So I'm just talking about, here I'm finishing on sex. When we talk about sexuality, sexuality is the physical and the emotional. It have to be physical and emotional. It can't be only physical or emotional. It is a physical, emotional feeling for any other person. It can be same sex, it can be opposite sex, or it can be for the both the sex. So sexuality always come from heart. So if your gender is between your legs, sorry, your sex is between your legs, sexuality is in your heart. So this is because it's more of an emotion and affection towards a person. So when you are within the same sex, it's known as a gay. When men and men are in love and in a romantic relation with each other, emotionally and physically bonded with each other, they are known as gay. Or men having sex with men, more of a technical language. When female are in love with each other or emotionally attached, they are known as lesbians. Whereas a person is been attracted towards both the sex, known as bisexual. And there is also something called as someone who is not been attracted physically or romantically, sorry, emotionally and physically not attracted to anyone is known as asexual. So here is the sexuality I'm talking about. And let's understand gender. If your legs, between the legs it's sex, and between the legs it's sex, and your heart is your sexuality. Gender is here in your mind. Okay, so all life, the chemical locha happened in the mind. So gender is what? Gender is the social constraint which and our society have created, which means these are the attribute of a male and these are the attribute of female. Who defines that attribute? It is a society, that they have to, a female have to be look beautiful, do makeup, long hairs, all these things. When men have to have short hair, pant, they have to wear pant and shirt. They have to trim. They have to have beard and mustache. These all things are, or they are physically strong. So these all things have been made by society. When you cross these boundaries, which is made by the society, and you transit from one gender to another gender, that's what the transgender we are talking about. So transgender is any person who is not comfortable or has is not comfortable with his or her sex given at a time of birth, but want to transit to another gender, is known as a transgender. Okay, now transgender itself is a bigger umbrella. So LGBT is one umbrella, and within trans there is a bigger umbrella. So when we talk about trans, the bigger umbrella I'm talking about, because we have a Kiran here, who is a trans man. So Kiran was given at a time of birth, he was identified as a a female child, and as a female. But he was not comfortable with his own sex, which was given at time of birth, and he had a dysphoria, and and he desired to go to the gender which he was more comfortable. So he transited from female to men. Hence, it is they are known as a trans men. Whereas Neela and me, we are talking about, we were by birth we were born as a boy, but we were not comfortable with our own identity or the sex at the time of birth we were given, and we transited from boy to a female. So it's like a trans woman. But when we talk about, there's a difference between me and Neela also. So Neela identify herself as trans woman, but I identify as a hijra. So there is a trans man and trans women two identity. There is a social identity. There are identity which are related to religion. So Hijra, Kinnar, Aravanis, Jogatis, Jogappas, Lalma, Masya. These all are the identity which come related to religion origin per se. And I talk specifically for Kinnar thing is because Kinnar, to get into the Kinnar community, it is have to be voluntary. You have to volunteer yourself to be part of the Kinnar community. You have to identify your guru, and then you have to take a permission from them to become a disciple, and you have to undergo all the process and form. Once you are into the society, in the gharana or the within the community, you have to follow all the rules and norms of the Kinnar society, okay, which has been formed by the many years ages. So this is what I want to make it clear, that Kinnar is different from trans women. So Kripali, I hand it over to you.
Yeah,
Please
yeah,
let me know.
perfect.
Sorry, I used this very fast, quickly.
No, no, sure, sure. Thank you, Maya. So one important thing I think, which we as a in the audience, for us to understand, is that LGBTQIA plus is often called as one group, but we need to understand that there are two things. There's one is sexuality, one is gender identity, and we are talking about transgender as a gender identity here. We are not addressing the group in a uniform manner, and it's very important to understand this distinction, because with each identity there are different problems, different issues of challenges associated with it, right? So Neela, I would like to you to come in and share a little more, if you have anything to add with the LGBTQ umbrella, and then things. So yes,
Yeah.
thanks.
So, as we discussed, LGBTQI, it is an umbrella term for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer people. So, where lesbian, gay, bisexual refers to sexual orientation, who a person feels romantically or sexually attracted to, where T refers to the gender identity and expression. So when we come to lesbian, a woman who is physically or romantically attracted to another woman She is called lesbian. So gay is sexually attracted to people of the same sex, like homosexual. A guy who is attracted towards a guy, that is a gay. And bisexuality is a romantic or sexual attractions or behavior towards both males and females, gender binary. And queer is an umbrella term for people who are not heterosexual and are not cisgender. So gay, as Maya ji said, is asexual, where they are not interested in sexual kind of thing. And I intersex, as she discussed about. The person who's having both the genitalia are called intersex. And that's it.
Right, right. Yeah. So thank you, Neela ji. What I wanted you all to also share was that most oftenly people, communities, or wherever there are inclusion initiatives, they always say that it's LGBTQ. But I
Hmm.
think we need to bring in over here the distinction
Hmm.
that every community within the LGBTQ needs a different targeted intervention, different perspective to look at it, and
Yeah.
a different strategy for inclusion. And sexuality is a very personal aspect, and you don't often express it in the social circle. But gender identity is something that's right in you. It's in front of you. And, it's mostly it's something that one has to express throughout navigating their experiences throughout different sectors. So that's the point I wanted to actually highlight here. Forward, let's understand the Transgender Act in India and what are the key areas that it talks about. We'll start with NALSA. We'll start with Maya. Maya, you can speak about NALSA, and Neelaji would like to hear about Transgender Act and its implementation in southern India. Yes, over to you, Mayaji. And we'll listen from Kiran about how trans men communities are accommodated within the act and what does the act speak of them, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Kripali. So, Nalsa judgment is one of the most remarkable judgment within the Indian history of judiciary, and even the Indian history of transgender. It is one of the most remarkable. If you have seen the web series Tali, it has been talking about that particular incident or the journey of Nalsa, where the activists Lakshmi Guru, Gauri Guru, and Zainab Guru has moved towards to the High Court, or sorry, the Supreme Court, and knocked the doors of court to get the identity of a third gender about themselves, about the community, and they got the identity from the judgment. The judgment was very remarkable, and it talks. If you read the judgment itself, has been is such a beautiful judgment written, talking about the entire history of transgender, different identities of transgender, how are they linked to the your mythology or any Vedas and all. Everything has been clearly mentioned. So Nalsa judgment came on 15th April 2014, where the Supreme Court have clearly mentioned that the judgment says that any person has his right are given right to identify themselves as men, women, or third gender, uh, and no one can question them. I'm going to say it is a self identity. So one have to go. You don't have to give any proof of your medical interventional, non-medical interventional, and you can choose yourself as men. It is for the third gender. So third gender can select as men, women, or others slash third. Okay, so that is what the judgment talks about. What are the silent features of the judgment? The silent feature of the judgment is the judgment. If you read the judgment was very clearly sent, giving directive to state government and the central government, mentioning there what are the steps to be taken by the each government, the state, union territory, or the central government for the betterment of the transgender person of the particular state. Uh, so it talks about reservation in hospital. So each state have to reserve some bed. A government hospital have to reserve bed in hospital for transgender, and also support in not on discriminate only base of gender, but also on the base of HIV also. They should be given free counseling post surgery and pre surgery. Every one of the hospital in the state have to give gender reassessment surgery free of cost to the transgender sub community. There is a reservation which been talk about uh, uh, there is a reservation to talk about education sector in the NASA judgment. NASA judgment have also mentioned about the non-discrimination to enter any place. There should be it can be legal action can be taken place of. So they were also given that the government have to do the mass communication or the media or IC material to be developed so that people has change their mind towards the transgender community. It is the responsibility of the state and the central government to talk about it. NASA judgment also spoke about uh, the developing a welfare board in each state so that the transgender have equal rights to take participate in social and get the maximum benefit from the social schemes of the state. So these are the few things. But the irony of that of the such a beautiful statement or the beautiful judgment which came in NASA judgment is that it took around uh, 2019. It's always 5 years that nothing was been implemented on the ground. Okay, it was all on the paper, and few of the states which were already progressive on the transgender work, they took this guideline and work more better policies on transgender for the transgender community. Hence, there was a time when the need of transgender act was there, and Transgender Act was introduced in 2019 by, I want to say, the journey was long, but then it was passed by both the houses. And in 2019, the act came and it became, 2019, the policy came and the act, it became act in 2020. Okay. But again, the issue is like, I don't know, we are so unblessed, but then when this beautiful act came, in that act also, it came to the time of the corona period, and the implementation was again a question mark. Government was not able to implement this because to get implement, all the government officials need to be uh, sensitized and trained for the act so that they can be implement at the different level. But all the training were taken at the time of corona, and we all know all the training during corona was online. And online training, the how does it work, I really don't have to define on the forum. So this is what I'm talking about, the Nalsa Act. I hand it over to Neela to talk on act, and then I can come in when needed. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Maya. Just before Neela says, three quick points that Nalsa said was self-perceived gender identity. For the first time, it defined gender beyond male and female, and it across colleges, across corporate office, it said that you should have male, female, and transgender as a third column in the forms, right? That's what you were referring to. And the third part you said was that they delineated clinical gender from a expression of gender. Correct, right? So these three core points we should keep in mind, and let's listen to Neela. Neela ji, go ahead, please.
So I'm sorry. So as this 2019, the Transgender Person Protection of Right Act said, an act that is an act to provide for protection of rights of a transgender person and the welfare and their welfare and for matters connected therewith and incidental thereto. So they say the definition of a transgender person. The bill defines a transgender person as one whose gender does not match with the gender assigned at birth. It includes trans men and trans women, and with the intersex variations, so genderqueer and persons with the social cultural identities, as Maya ji said, Kinnar and Hijra, everything. So, second one, prohibition against discriminations. The bill prohibits the discriminations against a transgender person, including denial of service or unfair treatment in relations to education, employment, healthcare, access to or enjoyment of goods, facilities, opportunities available to the public, rights to, and rights to residence. Every transgender person shall have a right reside and be included in his household or her household. If the immediate family is unable to care for the person may be placed in a rehabilitation center on the order of the competent court. So, coming to the employment, no government or private discriminate against a transgender person in employment matters, including recruitment, and promotions. Every is establishment is required to designate a person to be a complaint officer to deal with the complaints in relations to the act. And coming to education, educational institutes are funded or recognized by the relevant government shall provide inclusive educations, sports, and recreational facilities for the transgender person with. Coming to the healthcare, the government takes steps to provide health facility to the transgender person, including separate HIV surveillance centers and sex reassignment surgeries. The government shall review medical curriculum to address health issues of a transgender person and provide comprehensive medical insurance and certificate of identity for the transgender person. A transgender person may make an application to the district magistrate for a certificate of identity indicating indicating the gender as a transgender. A revised certificate may be obtained if the individual undergoes surgery to change the gender as a male or a female. So, welfare measures of government. The bill states that the relevant government will take measures to ensure the full inclusion and participation of a transgender person in society. It must also take steps for the rescue and rehabilitation, vocational training, and self-employment, create schemes that are transgender sensitive and promote their participation in the cultural activity. And coming to the offences and penalties, the bill recognizes the following offences against transgender person like forced or bonded labor, denial of use of public places, removal from household and villages, physical, verbal, emotional, or economic abuse. Penalties for these offences vary between 6 months and to 2 years and a fine. National Council for Trans Person, the NCT will consist of Union for the Social Justice, Minister of State for the Social Justice, and Secretary of the Ministry of the Social Justice, one representative from the ministry including health, home affairs, etc. And yeah, coming to the council will advise the general government as well as monitor the impact of policies, legislations, and projects with respect to the transgender person. It will also redress the grievance of the transgender person.
Right, right. So, Neelaji, how is the implementation of the act happening in Tamil Nadu in your state? How is the welfare board?
Yeah.
Has it been able to address transgender larger issues? Is there any
Yeah.
policy that the state has?
Till now, we don't have the policy here, and the government is now. We had a workshop or sitting. We had the first sitting for making the policies with the state government. So that policies are framed for total LGBT community. But
Hmm.
as a transgender, as a trans myself and my community, the transgender community people, we are requesting the government. See, every individual has different things. You should have your right, and I should have our right, my right. So we are requesting the government to frame a policy for exclusively for the transgenders alone and for LGBT community alone because uh, they have the different things and we have different things. From the beginning, you have noticed, from the beginning, transgender people are there. They are just, uh, you know, they just made a great role in forming this welfare board, everything. So apart from this, we respect LGB community people, but we need our separate policy for the transgender people and intersex alone. So that is what we are just requesting the government. And today there was a public review sitting is going on in the
Okay.
welfare board. So people all around from Tamil Nadu, they are there to talk about this policies. And as coming to the welfare board is helping the transgender communities first with the transgender ID card. So
Hmm.
if you want to change your name in
Hmm.
any Aadhaar card and any other documents, first the government they need to verify that you are a transgender woman or transgender man.
Hmm.
So first of all, we have to give the certificate or ID card. So that is government is helping each and every transgender person to get the ID card. And coming to the education, government is helping for the education also. And
Okay.
for the employment, few people are being placed in different public sectors, but we are requesting the government to recruit more transgender people to be appointed in the public sector. And
Okay.
apart from this, we do have a pension scheme,
Hmm.
and uh, we do have subsidies if you start a business or if you want to develop a business.
Okay.
The government is
Wonderful.
offering
Wonderful.
and
Okay.
many things we do have, and the government is supporting the transgender people to get a good job in different fields. So that is what the government is helping the community to.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it's interesting to know that there is, apart from the other things that are mentioned in the act, what it does not mention about is entrepreneurship development, subs or loans
Yeah.
or connection with finances. So if the
And
state
one more
government
thing,
that, yeah, yeah, go ahead.
one more thing, and the yearly once the government is selecting a transgender person who has helped another five transgender people for
Okay,
their
huh,
better life. So they
huh.
are awarding them with a 1 lakh rupees money.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
That's something very
yeah,
unique, never heard of.
unique. So per
Yes.
year we have that. So that is this year the people are nominating for that.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's wonderful. So this encourages a lot of community. Community already people who are working with the community to come up and them getting recognized by the government. It's a great encouragement. So superb. Let me now invite in Kiran here. And Kiran, can you share some insights from how two things I want to know? We've heard about Maya ji sharing about NALSA. Neela has shared about the Transgender Act and what does it cover. I want to understand two very important things. Transman person has been included in the transgender identity in the act, correct? So how is it
Correct.
translating on the ground in implementation? What are the challenges if there are any? And second part is your particular case, you bringing in aspect of intersectionality when you're talking about gender and disability, gender and caste, gender and migration. Does this have any place in the current legal act or the policy environment in India? Over to you, please, Kiran.
Yeah. Already told to sister. So um, transgender is an also judgment come in 2014. That time is add in transgender policies there. But transman also included. That is the very happy that one. But where who this understanding who this transman any government no ideas in before. So then when you come start in some organizations in transman organization advocacy to in government, so here to in some survey, some studies, some advocacy going, then some transman issues. But especially in south, you some south areas, in example Andhra Pradesh in Telangana, so government is no in transman issues. Then finally fight and advocacy to in government. Some south areas and I understanding too. Some state is have to in transgender board, but no in policy. And some state is, for example, Karnataka, no in transgender welfare board, and Telangana welfare board is there, but no policy. Andhra Pradesh is Andhra Pradesh is the policy is there, but no board. And
Okay.
same time in Tamil Nadu also in policies, sorry, transgender board is there, no policies. So
Hmm.
some that way transman issues is not understanding exactly in government in local areas. That is the forget to. And now in portal in transgender ID card, who this in taking transgender ID card, very
Mm.
clear in transman the man. So that is the important ID card in now started to in the central government ID card. So
Mm.
when you take that ID card and next step in going to now, and some state in not understanding transman, who this transman and transman families and some health issues and crisis, see not understanding in police department also. So where exactly that policy is there, act is there, and also judgment is there, but not implementation in state governments. That is very very bad. And local in district level or state level in the that board that cell or committee is important, but that committee not is a form into India. Some areas is doing well, but some area is not a perfect. So very sad that that one is transman issues in India. So very identified to in especially to health issues in facing to in India in transman. So bottoms top surgery is going to well in some state in doing where we're giving to money is there going to in top surgery, but not a bottom surgery is not a good. Why I am speak to here, exactly doctors not understanding some transman issues. So where policy is at is there, but when you in advocacy to in government and local colleges and law colleges is there, and some some fight in educationally in Karnataka 1% already take to in reservation. So that reservation is there, but how to implementation is the thinking that one is important, no? So these are in transman nalsa and giving to in that platform in good name change or documents or anything helping that nalsa judgment is good support to in all trans community. And come back in intersectionality is very very sad, not giving to in good platform in trans and disability and migration people. So actually I am facing to in fight last 15 years in I'm in born in Telangana and migration in Bangalore. Last 15 years too is the change to my caste. For example, state to state is caste also in the change in Andhra Pradesh. Telangana is giving to in SC Lambanis, in Karnataka giving to in SC Lambanis. So that I exactly in trans and disability and caste, I don't take any exactly support to in government. Why is the document problems, why is the exactly in study documents also same problem, ID cards do problems, and rent houses the problems, anything is migration is intersectionality person who is in 3 4 who is facing in more than problems, but no policy. Some so many organizations there in in disability organizations, so many organizations in trans organization also is the now in India, so many organizations is doing work, but where in giving to platform and where into policy, where and state government or central government in um, doing this at or any policies, no. And not speak to in migration the intersectionality people, not giving to good platform. So today are you giving this platform, I speak to in here my problems, but where you go and next step, that is the
Right.
question
Very
mark to in.
correct. Correct.
So finally is need for to in policy level and trans and disability, so many peoples in India, so is very clear need for act and policies more than important. Yes, Krupali.
Thank you, Kiran, so for sharing these insights. And as you rightly asked, it's a very important question. We're opening up spaces for discussing these issues, but where are we heading from here? It's a very important question. And I think there is no direct
Yeah.
answer to that, but it's something that I mean, I like to believe, I want to look at it this way. We start with educating ourselves first on what issues are there around us. We don't know, like, till now there are invisible identities within the transgender umbrella. Today we are talking about them. The trans men movement has come up. Now we know that there is a trans men movement. There is a trans. It's with a trans woman with hijra and other cultural identities. There are trans men. So now the next step is that though the act has particularly included trans men, but yes, there is no talk of intersectionality, and I think there should be a larger advocacy. I'm sure if Vidya ji, who was also our panelist, she's got a technical internet issue. However, if she would have been here, we would have got to hear on the vision on what the National Transgender Board Council is going to advocate. Unfortunately, I want to also make a point here that the National Transgender Council does not have any representation of trans men on it this year. It's very, very disheartening to know that, and we need to advocate this in the right manner. I'm sure the council now that is geographically representative of different areas will take up this issue, and we should let's hope for some change to emerge in the legal, constitutional, and policy framework that we have. Let's now we're going to wind up in the next 10 minutes. I want to we've discussed the challenges around the act and what the act talks. I want to bring in some good, positive, best, or let's not say best practices. We're not there yet, but let us bring in some positive stories also that are happening on the ground with respect to some kind of corporate inclusion of transgender persons. I'd like to bring in Maya ji here, and with one beautiful advocacy that if you could share on one of the examples of the work that you all are doing with corporate sector where you have placed transgender persons and it has succeeded. Maya ji, please let me hear from you.
Thank you. Uh, Kripali, before I come to the success story, I think in respect to the act and the NASA judgment, where it been implemented or not been implemented, I think each state and each committee member of each state have been fighting about their existence and their well-being for not only for themselves but their fellow friends and committee members. And this is remarkable from all the states, which need to be appreciated by the community, non-community people or the mainstream society, because existing itself is a big question mark. To exist in the life where start with discrimination and end with discrimination and violence. So that is what. So we have done one path-breaking advocacy, a path-breaking work towards the get a better life toward the community. So there were 2 years back, Tata Steel wanted to hire trans person to move on a blue collar, but not as an entry level blue collar. Uh, in fact, they were not clear about what to do, but they want to do hiring trans people for to work in the mines at Bokaro, Jamshedpur location, and they we spoke to them and we like we have to understand what are you looking like the first for the hiring, and they were like we want they give all the list of qualification and experience person, and we said like if they are they you want them to work on a heavy machines moving on earth like JCB tractors and all, you don't require a high qualification and you don't require a high communication. Little research की जरूरत नहीं है वहाँ पे, because they are not going to operate computers, they are going to operate the heavy machines. So we lower it to 10 standard so that people can get more people can include into it on the qualification per se, because we all know that there is a high ratio of dropout in the early school when the person is a trans person. So we worked on that, and we also make them work like if you want to take them in a blue collar, make them at least two level above the entry level, so that they get respect for working on a bigger, a little higher post. So this way we did it. We did a sensitization program for all the management. We did it at three level and three phase. So three level was the senior most leadership team, then the direct team under whom the people will be working, and thirdly we worked with uh, the blue collars and the uh, outsource employees team. So, for example, like security, housekeeping, I'm talking about. And with the sensitization, we did this about just how what we did it today. We did it more in more detail, sex, gender, and sexuality, and what are the challenges. And we spoke very much on the issues and why are the trans being neglected or not being given equal presence in the society and all those things. And we did this with all the three levels of the staff. We did it one with the management, and the second phase, what we did it with the committee who have joined them. Okay, so there were people who have joined, and we also made them a point that since the mines are always out of the township or the city limits, so you have to give them place to stay in township, so that they don't give too much time on traveling and all. In respect to a few of the staff may be traveling from the city, but and you have a proper bus system and all those things, but then still we want to make them, because let the township people also accept them. So that was the reason. Uh, we were able to we trained more than 3,000 employees of Tata Steel at different location, and we were able to get the first batch of people got into the recruitment, and they were working at and the term for that they will work for 1 year as an internship with an X amount of money, and they will go for an exam, internal exam or the assessment. If they fail to the assessment, they will not. They will. I mean, when they pass the assessment, they will be secure the job like a full-time employee, like other employees. If they don't, they will not be thrown out. They will be given another 1 year of round two. Like that, three rounds will be given, or three chances will be given to them. And then if then also not working, they will do introspective where they for 3 years where they went wrong, okay, or how what they didn't worked out. But luckily, very first year, all the people were absorbed. They all qualify the thing, and now they are
How
a full-time
many of them
employee of.
were, Mahesh ji, how many of them were total number kitna tha?
So initially, when they were recruited, it for 35 people. Now the number have gone more than 1,000, and it's not about within the mines, it also were in the offices space. So when they were comfortable with the mines space, then now they went to the offices. They gave HR, admin, back office job also to the trans people. Seeing to
Right.
that, Tata Steel example, Tata Metallics have the group within the group they had learning. Tata Metallics in Kolkata, they hired the engineers and graduates, the more qualified version of as per se the education per se. Then Tata Greens have taken. So this is the way. It's always like you have to convince corporate that look, you may have your own set of expectation and all, but then at least not let them people get into the system and qualify the round on the base of merit, not as a gender identity. Okay,
Hmm.
or it is not a privilege. It is again a point where you have to prove yourself on base of a merit. This is what one of the example I can tell you. And then we at Tweet Foundation now we have been doing with so many corporate across India.
Right, wonderful. That's really amazing to know about the kind of the process of doing this. the process of absorbing trans person, and how reasonable accommodations were carried out, how it was thought that if they don't clear this round, they should be given another attempt. I think it's a very important process in this journey of inclusion, because we are trying to bring equity, not equality. We're trying to give that ground to trans people to come and be able to compete the other persons. If they don't get it, okay, then you have another chance. So I think it's a beautiful model. Like, heartily congratulate you and Tweet Foundation, and I think all other collaborative organizations that were with you, who have done this process possible. So it's been great to listen to this journey, this story
So
of inclusion. Sure. Huh.
latest
Good.
what we did it in the Odisha at Kalahandi for the mines for Tata Steel. The latest we did it in last year 2023. And
Lovely.
one of the important thing is like, we also, when they got confirmation, we asked them to include the transition cost. So now
Trans-
the hormones has been taken care of. They have been given money for like, they've been given the way the other corporate include their transition in the health policy. So they also have health policy. And I think when you get all these things on benefit or not as a privilege, but as a merit, the no employee, a trans employee will like to move out of the organization. They become
right.
loyal. The retention rate is 85%.
Wonderful. That's really wonderful. I mean, it's something that it's rare about things that have been happening, the inclusion initiatives, other inclusion initiatives that I have come across. And the most wonderful thing is that it's not just the inclusion in process, it's in policy, it's in environment, it's a complete umbrella of sensitizing. So it's a complete circle of how do complete a logical circle. So it's a great learning, and I think I'm sure other corporates, other organizations that are looking forward to include trans community, bring that to your D&I agenda. I think need to think about a holistic perspective where it just does not translate into putting out jobs and saying that, oh, we are open to welcome to opening transgender persons to hiring and to hiring them, but to also in the intent of creating accessible spaces, physical spaces, offline online spaces, also in the policy, in everything. So in letter and spirit, basically. Neela and Kiranji, do you have any we are actually about to close, but quickly I'd like to listen from you, not about positive experiences, but I want to listen to you as we are moving towards the empowering action session, where what the society, what all of us can together do. I want quick inputs from both of you. 1 minute to you and 1 minute to Kiranji, for sharing what are your aspirations, vision, what Farm Foundation's vision for and next steps.
Yeah. Actually, before that, I want to say about the something should be included in the policies.
Right,
Like
right.
act, in act, if it is added in that, be very helpful for the community people to go through. First of all, I would like to add Marriage Act,
Okay, right.
adoption.
Hmm.
Then above the age of 18, the family should accept the people. But
Right.
most of I want to specifically say, like in Kerala, the government, they have the law. Like if the transgender person is not accepted, so that is we can able to put a petition on the parents about that, and the court, they will be helping the community and the parents to be united. So they help for the acceptance, in Kerala government. So that is how we want from the society.
Neela, will come back to you. Please hold on. I have taken a couple of your points like Marriage Act. What other things with the word Transgender Act does not particularly cover is the Marriage Act, marriage perspective. We've had the same-sex marriage verdict recently, and it was very disheartening that we did not have acceptance for transgender marriages or same-sex marriages. Then we are talking about adoption, the right to adoption, the right to become parents. We're talking about family acceptance. These three core points that we have taken from you. So we'll come back to you. Meanwhile,
Pali,
Kiranji, yeah, yes,
sorry,
go ahead.
sorry. I just want to correct that in the marriage equality
Correct.
decision taken by the court, Supreme Court, they have given a marriage right to trans person. They have denied to the same sex.
Correct. So they have given the right to union. I mean, recognition of the union of trans person, but not per se marriage. Recognizing the union. That's there. That yeah, got it. Perfect. So Kiran, would you like to add any two, 3 points, particularly very key points, your gaps in the act or implementation, or your aspiration or aspiration of the community, or some vision towards how where we should be moving? Kiran, are you there? Yeah, Kiran,
Yes,
please go ahead.
yes, I'm here.
Yes, yes.
So, need for more advocacy to in government for in act and also judgment and recently new policies there in state government policies. So implementation more than important. Sometimes organizations or any social activist in people, so giving to in government how to reach in local our communities and trans communities especially. So is the policy is there, but how to reach in our job also is more than important, no? So especially I myself and my team also in doing to in Telangana and social socially is fight in lost in lot of years, and finally got it in recently in transgender welfare board, and a new government also is come back, and advocacy is important our side also in organizations. So in my recommendation in government and public very clearly, please understanding some rules in government and act, and this is how to
Yeah, hello, Kiran. I'm unable to again. I've lost you. Okay, so we'll just move towards concluding this session. Thank you for your inputs that you've shared about what needs to be done at a governmental level, and I think that there's more advocacy. The answer lies in looking at more advocacy, more understanding, having more knowledge, and this will begin when we have these discussions, when we have these talks, when we have these forums where we are bringing the topic to the central discussion. So for each of us, I think we need to have all of us need to look at allyship as one of the most key points where we could be an ally to a trans person, and in and walk the journey with them, to understand their issues, to understand their challenges, and also be a support and advocacy for them. For each of us, at an individual level, now actions can be at different levels. At when activists have their level of working towards of advocacy with governments, with organizations, but at individual, at homes, what can we start with? Can we start with an inclusive environment at home where we try to understand, okay, kal ko tomorrow, if tomorrow I have a child, how am I going to address the child? How am I going to understand if my child needs has some specific gender expression issues or challenges, or would not like to identify with their biological gender? Are we creating space for that? Are we educating ourselves on that? So I think we need to begin with education, and having inclusion and having an open heart. With this, I think I wanted to show a few slides, but we don't have time. I thank all of you, all our experts. We acknowledge and recognize your journeys of struggle, your journeys of challenges, and all that. Despite facing all these challenges, your attempt to empower your community members and walk this journey with them. So I thank Maya ji, Kiran ji, Neela ji, Vidya ji for joining us today, and I hope that these discussions are taken forward at larger forums where we bring these topics to discussion, to think about them, and we move towards some action. And that action has to begin with the individual wanting to bring about that change, acknowledge that yes, the person next to me could be gender diverse, and I have an accepting and a loving heart to hold space for this person to come out and express themselves. So with this, I thank all of you. I thank Rise Forum and all the technical team, all and the platform for hosting this discussion today, and all those who joined us. Thank you so much.